Hey Internet, it's your old friend Dominic here with the All-American Casino Guide, and as you can see, I'm not in the familiar studio space. I'm actually at home, doing what you should do, self-isolate. But why am I self-isolating? I'm still working from home. And today, I'm going to be talking about the late night poker series that we do on this channel. And so let's go ahead and watch this exciting night we had, and I'll give you some commentary on how it went. Now, just to let you know, we played this game several weeks before the whole social isolating thing started. So no concern here that our players are not more than 2 meters away from each other. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so here's the first hand. Let's see, big hand here. All right, so first things first, Footloose has already been dealt a pair of pocket aces. Now, pocket aces are not necessarily a guaranteed win. They are a very strong hand. I'm not going to deny that, but overall, it's not a guaranteed win just because you got pocket aces. All right, so he decides to play the big blind. He's slow playing this, which is the smart play to make with a hand like that. You don't just come out dominating right off the bat. Now, some people would disagree with me, but personally, I think this is a smart move on his behalf here, okay? So Cowgirl is debating if she in fact wants to play this hand. Her body language is clearly indicating that she is unsure about her hand, and overall, even if she wanted to come into this hand, people would know that she was reluctant. Of course, she could always be faking it, but Jesus folds his hand, 6-10 offsuit, good play there. Jesus, Havana's got a decision to make here because she's got the ace-3. She's going to go ahead and decide just to play that big blind. Soho goes ahead and limps in, and Slim Shady's going to check. Looks like the money's good. We're going to see our first flop of the night. Let's see what happens here. Let's see here. Money's good. We're looking at 5 players still in the hand. Okay, 10 of hearts, Jack clubs, 4 of clubs. All right. So that patches up with Soho's jacks. So she's got a pair of jacks going right now. But of course, Footloose is still the dominating player here. He's got a 77 overall. Looks like Slim Shady folds the hand after Soho makes that initial strong bet. Footloose now is going to decide if he wants to play this hand. He should. I mean, he still should feel that you have top pair, guaranteed here. Okay, so he's going to double Soho's bet, which is what you should do when somebody comes out with a strong bet. You immediately react by doubling it and really question if they really, really, really believe in their hand, okay? So Cowgirl, Jesus is out. Havana, sitting only at 1.18 overall. They're going to consider their hand for just a moment and then fold it, as you would expect. Smart move. Okay, Soho's thinking that pair of jacks is going to hold up. Now, they have no chance of a flush draw at this point. That's something to be considerate of if you were Soho. But let's see overall. Let's see. We're going to be playing just heads up here. There's a queen. Again, Footloose is feeling pretty confident, but there's still that worry I would have of a possible straight draw. Someone could have 9-8 right now or King-9. Something like that. It could be really concerning for me. But he's going to go ahead and make a large sum here. It's not an all-in bet, but I can't really make out how many chips exactly he's putting in. But it looks like Soho is deciding that she is going to go with an all-in bet. I'm really questioning what Soho's thinking right here, right now, because as far as I'm looking, they're pretty much drawn dead other than a third jack coming out. There's really only one card in the entire deck that's going to help them, and that would be the Jack of Diamonds. Of course, she doesn't know that Bacchus already had the Jack of Hearts, but that's the beauty of watching these games where we get to kind of see overall what's going on here. Footloose is not going to be intimidated by that all-in bet, which, I mean, he was already fairly chip committed, so this is going to be interesting to see how this pans out. Okay. Looks like he's just doing a quick chip count to make sure the money's good. Yep, it looks good. Everyone's good. All right. And now little table talk overall. They're all pointing fingers, trying to explain the game to each other. Okay, hands up. It looks like Soho comes the reality that they're pretty much drawn dead here. And the last card is a Queen of Hearts. Okay, so that's going to go ahead and be two pairs, queens and aces for Footloose, queens and jacks for Soho. You know, overall two pair for both players, but it's not going to be good enough. All right, so next hand here, let's see, looks like Cowgirl sitting pretty with an ace king. Slim Shady 8-10 on suit with clubs. Okay, Footloose has already folded out this hand, which I don't necessarily agree with here because they had 4-7 suited with hearts. Not a great hand overall, but I think as long as the blinds or the bets don't get too out of control, I think it's a fairly smart idea here to go ahead and continue and try to see a flop at least, to stay in the hand long enough for that. All right, so Soho folds the hand, as one would do when you have 9-4 off suit. Vanna feeling pretty confident with their 5-6 diamonds. You know, it's essentially the same kind of thing I was saying for Footloose, so we'll see how that pans out for them. Let's see. Bacchus is deciding. Looks like all around the money's good. We're going to see a flop. We'll see if that decision that Footloose made was a smart one. Let's see if we get any hearts coming out here. So we got a burn card, and here comes the 3 of hearts, 7 of clubs, and the 2 of clubs. Okay, well, overall, 2-3, you could, you know, Footloose would have paired up his 7s, and he would have had a flush draw, straight draw. Oh, overall, I still don't know if that was a smart move. I'm going to criticize that all the way to the end and see if we get a solid read on that one. Cowgirl still doing well with King Ace on suit. Slim Shady, interesting. Looks like he's going to lay his hand down with, which is weird because he's got 4 clubs and he's got runner options here. But Bacchus did make a massive bet because they had the first option. They were playing in position, so they got to initially make that strong bet. Jesus is looking at his options, but realistically, with just ace high, there's nothing really going on. 3 clubs after the flop, it's not entirely that convincing in my opinion. Overall, I'm not too happy with that hand, and I think with such a strong bet coming out of Bacchus's corner, I think in the fact that he's shuffling his cards back and forth clearly gives me the indication that he is uncertain about his hand. Now, of course, this always could be a really skilled player trying to fake you out, make you think that they don't like their hand. But I don't know if these players in particular have that level of mastery where they can convincingly act that they don't have the right hand when his. All right, so Havana has got the next act here. They're feeling fairly confident. They have a little bit of a straight draw going with that 5-6 on suit, but no diamonds, unfortunately, in the flop. So that flush aspiration they had pre-flop is completely out the window. Okay, Soho, fresh off their loss from the last hand, is going to go ahead and see what's going on here. Nope, they fold overall. Okay, so then Slim Shady looks like he wanted a chip count on that last bet. Okay, so the money's good overall. Let's see. Oh, 7 of diamonds. Okay, well, that would see. Footloose would have 3 of a kind at this point. Now, obviously, you don't know that going into the hand, but when you have 4-7 on suit with hearts, you know, it's worth a shot. Now, obviously, that flush draw would have been burned out, but, I mean, you got to be kicking yourself a little bit, not playing the hands when the pre-flop bet was not that high to begin with. But, you know, especially after you had just essentially doubled up your chips after the first round. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how this plays out. Okay, Havana, I'm not quite sure what they're even seeing right now. Okay, so they fold their hand. Okay, good. Soho's already out of hand. Slim Shady was just praying for that last club, but the reality is they don't even realize Okay, so Bacchus goes ahead and makes a all-in bet after Slim Shady checks, which he's already preparing to call. So he's counting up his chips, asking for a proper chip count. Okay, getting this right. Looks like he's got the money good, and both of them are hoping for that last club to come up. There's not much that's really going to improve Slim Shady's hand. Oh, there's the 5 of clubs. All right, so that's a flush for both players. But of course, it always goes to the player who's holding the better hand. All right, so we're going to flash out the cards. All right, so it looks like in this case, Jesus sitting nice with a ace-king offsuit, Cowgirl with a king-queen offsuit, Slim Shady with a jack-queen offsuit. This is rather interesting. Everyone else is kind of holding a handful of garbage. Bacchus with a jack-9. That's, on suit, that's not bad overall. So statistically, pre-flop, though, Jesus is holding the big hand. Havana is going to fold after Jesus, and so who's going to follow suit? Jesus tripled the initial big blind, it looked like, after Cowgirl went ahead and doubled it. And Slim Shady's deciding what he wants to do. Looks like he might be going for, that is a confirmation. He's going to go in for an all-in play. That was not a string bet. He did announce an all-in. Let's see here. They're just doing a proper chip count so that all the players still in the hand can get an accurate description of how much is actually going in the pot right now. Bacchus, of course, looking at his hand one more time, thinking about that jack-9 on suit. Is it really worth it? I mean, he just upped his chip count from the last hand, but, going all in pre-flop, it's really, we're gambling at this point. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Like, an all-in bet pre-flop, that's gambling, straight up. Some people swear up and down by it. Other people, not so much. Definitely intimidates people out of the hand, but with so many people already unsure about what they want to do with the hand, I'm kind of questioning that decision overall. Might have been better to wait for the big move post-flop. But, of course, if you want to scare people out of a hand, a big bet pre-flop is a good way of doing that because, you really can't sit and know exactly what your hand's going to be overall. Let's see here. So Bacchus still debating on his head. No, he's going to fold the hand. He's going to lay that down. Footloose, he's only big blind committed, and the blinds have the bet's gotten so out of control here. He's going to fold the hand, which I agree with both of those players' decisions. And it looks like Cowgirl is feeling confident enough to call Slim Shady's all-in bet. She's got the chips to cover it, so why not? Jesus, sitting with that massive AK, he's not even going to debate it. He's going to go ahead and match. He's going to go ahead and match the all-in bet, and I don't know if he wants to go more. He wants to go over the top with it. He might be. I think he's considering trying to start a side pot. Yeah, he's getting a chip count completely of his whole chip stack. So it looks like he might. Yeah, he's going to be all in and trying to suck some more chips out of Cowgirl. Now this is crazy in my opinion because now you got 3 players calling an all-in bet and going all in. I mean, it's they're going in over the top and it is starting a big pile of chips here. This might be the biggest hand of the night at this point. It's definitely the biggest hand of the night. I don't know if this will be the biggest hand of the night overall. Certainly a lot of chips moving here. Okay, so we're just going to count. As a side note, this can be a very effective strategy of essentially looking like you don't know what the hell you're doing. I've used this tactic more than once with a group of people who didn't know me very well. Essentially giving off the impression that I'm not very knowledgeable about the procedure, even attempting to bet out a turn, trying to reveal my cards early, stuff like that. Okay, so finally, it looks like Cowgirl had him covered. Okay, this is going to be really interesting to see how this pans out because we've got a queen, jack, ace, king, and king, queen. So essentially I'm going to see what happens. Okay, we've got 2, 3, no help there overall. Oh, there's the king. So it looks like Jesus and Slim and Cowgirl are both feeling pretty nice in this hand. Okay, let's see what comes up next. Okay, 4, no help there overall. And here comes the river card. It's a 4. Okay, so the kings and 4s with an ace kicker. You got beat by an ace kicker. That has to be one of the worst things that can happen. So it's going to be down to just 6 players from our original 7. Looks like Cowgirl's on the button. Soho with ace 4 offsuit. She's going to go ahead and play the big blind. Bacchus looks like he's going to triple the big blind. Footloose getting out of the hand, playing a little bit more conservatively after that big hand, that big win in the first hand. Jesus, king 5. A lot of people don't like king 5. I personally like king 5. That's my secret hand that I play that is terrible statistically, but I don't know why. I just like king 5. I can't really explain it. Havana holding the statistically strongest hand on the table with jack 10 offsuit. Kind of sad, really. But if she knew what was going on with the other players' hands, she would probably feel confident. Okay, we've got 4 of hearts, 10 of spades. No, oh, see, there we go. Soho sitting with 3 4s. See, this was quite the surprise because pre-flop, they were not in a very good position. So they're going to go ahead and make a good token bet. Bacchus, I don't know what the hell he's thinking, really. He's really drawn dead. I mean, he's got 3 spades, but he's, just kind of string betting now. Essentially trying to convince the other 2 players in the hand that he's got something. He's got potential, don't get me wrong. I mean, but overall, I don't like flushes as much as some people do. I mean, a lot of people swear up and down by flushes. They just really love them. But okay, we got another all-in bet. This is massive. I should call this the all-in express because these players are just going all in pre-flop, post-flop. Nobody's really waiting for a turn or a river. Everyone's just eager just to push their chips in and just gamble. And that's really what we were doing here at this point. We're gambling. This is great. I love watching this kind of stuff. I hate being in these kinds of hands. I mean, it's like why they call it the degree, like all-in moment during the World Series of Poker. Okay, so Bacchus is really intent. He's getting over the table. He's observing everything that's going on. All right, so Havana's all in. Looks like Soho is going to be pushing in enough chips to match Havana's bet. I mean, Havana didn't have that many chips to begin with, so I think it looked like. Really wish I could get a chip count on these. Maybe with the next video, I'll have to make sure that we try to keep an accurate chip count overall. I don't know how feasible that is with our record keeping we have on this channel, but okay. There's some confusion about this would be like a cheater's paradise of just pocketing chips, palming chips. There's so many hands on the chip stacks. These people touching chips left and right. So we even have a side pot. Okay, so Soho is wondering if we're going to reveal our hands now because we're all in, but it's not the right time. Again, it's showing a relative inexperience in their knowledge base. Havana's trying to throw in their glasses as an extra bet on top. Pair of 10s overall. That's not 10s and 4s, but that's not going to beat Soho's hand. I mean, right now she's sitting at 3 4s. I mean, and potentially the only thing I'd be really concerned about at this point would be if somebody had like pocket 10s and they're going to have like a full house. But looks like they're going to go all in with more chips. Just kind of pushing all those white chips. We really should have colored up on the last hand. I mean, this is just why do you have so many white chips? I'm just building this nice little fort of chips. All right, and Bacchus deciding to call or not. He's probably feeling pretty confident with his 2 pair, 8s and 4s with an ace kicker. Little does he know that he's going to be drawn dead against a player. I mean, there's very little that can help them at this point. I don't even know why they even made that decision overall. Okay, so Jack 10. So we got 2 pairs, 10s and 4s with a Jack kicker. But that's going to all go over to one last card. 2 diamonds, doesn't make any difference. Overall, Soho celebrating with that big win, and that would be the end of the night. We'll be watching the second part of this in our next video. Guys, if you have anything to say about any of my commentary, or if you agree with any of my observations or disagree with any of my observations, please go ahead and leave that as a comment down below. If you have anything to say about these late night poker videos that we do, make sure to leave those as a comment down below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It's the biggest way to show us your love and tell us that you are a fan of what we're doing. Another way would be to clickety-clack that like button and ring-a-ding-ding that notification bell, because that way you will be notified by those ever so helpful push notifications that a new video has been made available. And guys, my name's Dominic. This is the All-American Casino Guide, reminding you, as always, play responsibly.